What's going on again today, guys? Yeah, you know who it is. We're going to try for two now today, huh? We're not doing WR's products right now tonight. It's a little late for that, but we are going to welcome you to the Madison's backyard one more time. And not one more time. We're going to do this all summer, off and on. And tonight we got a little bit of a history subject I wanted to discuss with you and see how well you take to that. This is a different side of me. And we can get into that later on. But it's a new facet of who I am and what I've become. And not only as a historian, but a local pastor, a leader, and now a businessman. Who would have thunk it? So you know who it is. It's the Earl, and we're gonna try to bring you some birds. We got a beautiful sunset to the west, June 23rd, and today's my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom, and thank you so much for all you've done for me. Without you, I couldn't have done it. So thank you. So make sure you love your moms. They're everything, you know. Your dads too, but moms are. If you got a mom like mine, they're special. You know what I mean. But yeah, we want to bring you some birds today and see what's going on. Just had a kind of a boring day, slow day today, so I was thinking, yeah, it's been a while that we haven't done anything with Madison's backyard, and we'll give them a shout out tonight and see what they like. And then I got thinking, maybe I'll mix it up a little bit. Maybe I'll do a little bit of history alongside of filming some birds, and just mix it up a little bit, do something a little different, see how my audience responds. And I'm hoping now that I got WR's products, that's going. I got some followers there. We can create a kind of a domino effect and kind of get my business. I'm trying to go into business for myself. This is the truth. I've been trying to go into business for myself since I was 20 years old, 25 years old, actually. I'm married my second wife at 25. So, yeah, I've been trying to go to business for half my life. Started with multi-level marketing companies. I won't name any names, but the big ones, the important ones. It just business adventures throughout the years. Started about our own church, our own ministry alongside the church. It wasn't just the church meetings. We were helping people. We were ministering to people. We were caring for people. We were going and praying with the elderly. We were doing all the things you're supposed to be doing in a community as church leaders. So it was very involved, part of our life. Just another facet of the Earl. Yeah, either love you or they hate you. That's the way I look at it today in this world. I think I got a little bit of a cynical view on the world. Either they love you or gonna hate you, and I just hope more of them love me than hate me. Is my goal at the end of the day. So on to our history subject. And this has kind of been coming along for a long time. I've got a bachelor's degree in American history. 9 credits away from my master's degree in military history. So I'm very versed and very book knowledge, and a lot, to some degree, some physical knowledge there too, some physical wisdom there about not only warfare, but my area of specialties is the French and Indian War. So I wanted to talk about an event that was later called the Jumonville event, and many of you know Fred Anderson's work in Crucible of War talks at length about the Jumonville event, and you can look at that up on your leisure. But a lot of the things that I have established over the years are based on Anderson's work, based on Ian Keen's there, the Trails of Fort William Henry, men like that. So I was thinking one day, and I was reading, I was thinking, and I just crossed references, and every reference that came up basically said the same thing about this event. That the Iroquois half-king murdered this dude. To make a long story short, case closed, right? Never anything about George Washington, maybe something about him leading a small battalion. There was never any mention that George Washington was even near the area that I could remember growing up as a young history student until I got into college. That's when I learned this information. So the more I studied, the more I studied, the more I studied, I realized that the story's wrong. And I'm like, I can't be the only one that realizes this, right? And I thought I was for the longest time. And then I really started reading into Anderson's work, and the more I read into Anderson's work and the more I didn't like it, he also agreed with me on the flip side of it. So that really got me excited. My theory is very simple. The Half King didn't kill him, and it was George Washington that started the French and Indian War. I know that's controversial, but I got facts. We're going to base it all on Anderson's work, and we're going to base it on Nine Kings, betrayals, and some other ones along the way. But you get the drift. Primary source documents, documents from the Library of Congress. This stuff is letters, I's, T's are crossed, and I's are dotted. So, at the end of the day, history paints the Half King as the villain. In some degree, his Mohawk warriors and himself were villains, but they weren't the villains that the American people were making him into. And that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. A lot of racial discrimination involved there. A lot of propaganda, negative propaganda, centered toward the Native Indian or Indian. So some natives are offended by being called Native Indian. And most every Indian, including myself as a Cherokee, is offended by being called Native American. And most people don't know that, but that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. I'm getting off on my tangents, so we got to get back on focus here. So we're talking about Jumonville. So what's my facts? What do I know? Well, what I know is this: Washington was leading a battalion. He was a major. German Army. Why would I say German Army? And the British Army. Given a command to lead this group of men to find this French force. He was told that they had weapons. When he got there, they didn't have. They had a few guns and a couple muskets and I guess a small cannon. They didn't really have anything to defend themselves. So if you had 10 or 15 guys with muskets pointing at you, you've already lost, basically. And Washington had anywhere between 2,500 to 3,500 men. The French had somewhere around 2,000. So Washington had a superior force. He knew exactly what he was doing. And after all, he was given the order to go find this French force. He was sent on the peacekeeping. From what I understand, it was a peacekeeping mission. And later on, this would come out. Anderson talks about it. Washington was sent on this peacekeeping. Later on, you find out, well, wait a minute. Even in Anderson's work, it was Washington, and this is where Anderson agreed with me. This Washington ordered his men, once he got to Jumonville, Glen, where it happened, where the Jumonville event happened, he ordered at some point after both armies were apparently exchanging some small gunfire. There was some yelling going on. Of course, you had the Native Indians back in the woods. They were whooping and yelling. There was a lot going on. Couldn't barely hear each other. Anderson talks about. So is the Kean, too, the trails. He talks about it, touches on it. So why does Washington order his men to fire on basically a defensive French force, right? Well, he was told that they had weapons, but once he got there, he realized that they didn't. But he still ordered his troops to fire upon. So my argument is if he never had ordered the firing on the French force, the French and the war never started. It would have never given the Half King a reason to come down and to basically murder Jumonville right in front of everybody. He wouldn't have had a reason because there wouldn't have been a battle there. And if there was, it would have been a very short battle, and it wouldn't have been. It would have been on the native side. It would not have been on the British side. That day, the British won that day, and they know that. But that's my rant, and I think I've been close to about 10 minutes. So look it up. It's in Anderson's work. It's pages 5 through 7 of Crucible of War. Many different references I can give you if you'd like some. Get me on Facebook. get me on YouTube. Just send me a message, and I'll get you some information. But it's in Anderson's work, and if you're a history student of any kind, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I want you guys to have a good night. We want to show you some birds. So peace out from the Madison house and the Madison backyard. And it's getting late. Man, Wayne the historian's leaving the building. Let's go. Yeah, let's get out of here. All right. Love you guys. Hey, stay safe, stay healthy, and love your families. Have a good night.